Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Heneka, Director of Product at IamResponding. We're so glad you could spend part of your day here at Ready 23. Ready 23 is hosted by Rapid SOS. If you're not familiar, Rapid SOS is an intelligent safety platform that securely links life-saving data to monitoring centers, 911, and first responders in emergencies. At Ready 23, we aim to foster a sense of unity and shared purpose among all stakeholders in the emergency response ecosystem. Ready 23 is an opportunity to connect, collaborate, and catalyze change in the world of public safety and emergency response. So we encourage you to actively engage in this virtual event platform, WOVA, and participate in the event. Today, we're joined by a panel of experts from both business and public safety sectors. We've got Dan Craigie, the Strategic Development Director at GeoComm, Cheryl Konarski, Communications Manager at Joplin Emergency Communications Center in Joplin, Missouri, Chief Donna Black, EFO, CFO, Duck Fire Department, North Carolina, also a longtime IamResponding user. So I'll pass it back to you guys. So panelists, if you could please introduce yourself, shed some light on why you're here talking about emergency response. We'll begin with Dan, followed by Cheryl, and last but not least, Chief Black.
Mike, thank you. So I am Dan Craigie, the Strategic Development Director, as Mike said, from GeoComm. I lead strategic initiatives at GeoComm. So the normal way of saying that is I do a lot, and I don't have anything very specific that I do. And it's great. I like working with a wide variety of public safety partners, including Rapid SOS. GeoComm is based in Minnesota, and we are the leading public safety GIS company in the United States. Previously, I was the Deputy Director of Emergency Communications with the state of Minnesota. And as you'll find out once Cheryl and Chief Donna Black introduce themselves, very much the junior member of this panel when it comes to public safety. So appreciate having their experience on as well. You know, GeoComm's here because we really share a very deep commitment, not only with our partners, but our customers in providing what I like to say, and I think what we say pretty often, is an effective and efficient product and services to public safety. And so we realize that's what Rapid SOS is trying to do. We share that commitment, so we want to participate in that today. Thank you.
Very cool, Dan. Thanks for that. My name's Cheryl Konarski. I've got a little over 36 years of public safety experience, starting as a clerk in Southern California, and I'm currently the communications manager here in Joplin, where I've been that almost 5 years now. I am really, really passionate about Rapid SOS, and I was very honored to ask to be part of this panel today because the mission that they have is so critical for what we do, especially in 911. Location is number one. If we don't know where to send these guys, then we don't have any way to help somebody. So having the data that we get from Rapid SOS has been critical in so many calls that we've processed in our center. I've got stories I can share of times where if we had not had Rapid SOS, the outcome could have been very different in what happened on the call and getting to the caller that much quicker. So I think it's fantastic what they're doing. They're constantly, consistently upgrading, sharing, partnering with different agencies, different companies to share the data that those companies have for their callers and the people that use their product. So having that platform that brings all that together is something that we're extremely grateful for here in Joplin, and I know many other agencies are the same way. So I'm excited to be here and talk with how we use Rapid SOS and all the other products to help our callers and our responders.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chief Donna Black. I'm 27 years in the fire service. I'm the chief of a small combination department on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's a large tourist destination in what you would probably call rural setting. I also am the immediate past president of the International Association of Fire Chiefs. I've had the pleasure to travel around the country and even have discussions globally around the issues with response, recruitment, retention. So glad to be here and talk about the future of response, right? Because I think there's really an opportunity. We need to do things differently, and the capabilities that are at our hands now is really exciting.
And this is great. And I appreciate all of you being here today. So, and our discussion is going to center around, some of these future facing solutions, and we'll kind of kick it off with Dan. Can you elaborate on how safety fits into GeoComm's mission and why it's a priority in today's world?
Mike, thanks for the question. It's all we do. We are a public safety GIS company. We only serve our products at this time to public safety. So really, it's our mission. It's who we are. We wake up every day, and that's the industry that we serve. Really, being GIS experts, we, view the world and we see the problems that are out there. And to us, we say, how can geographic information systems, how can a map solve this problem? That's what we do, and we're very passionate about that. For first responders, that includes fire, 911. I was also the 911 program manager for the state of Minnesota. There is so much data out there, and I literally have that bolded in my own notes. First responders and public safety practitioners have so much data that you have to deal with, that we feel that, why we're here is geographic context is really helpful. So having a map to place all this information, if there's a fire and there's sensors going off, providing a geographic context is really critical, and then serving that under a single pane of glass, being Rapid SOS. So that's really why we're here, and that's what we're doing, and excited to hear what our other panelists have to share.
Thank you. And I'll pass this to Cheryl. And can you describe how collaboration between public and private partners is transforming emergency response?
Absolutely. So Rapid SOS and their partners, they're providing life-saving location information, and it helps us as public safety communications professionals to have that data as well as the other data that's being shared. So we know all this location information is out there, but we have, until Rapid SOS came along, no one single platform that could provide all that to us. So I'm one of those managers that wants to bring everything into the center, but I also don't want to overwhelm our people. We were talking before we came live about how many screens we look at in a center. We're at 4, getting ready to go to 5, possibly 6, and that's a lot of stuff for us to look at. So if we can look at one place and get those location pieces, so we when we're talking to the caller, okay, yes, I know where you are because you're describing what I believe is where you're at, and Rapid SOS is confirming that information. So if we can be as specific as we are with the locations, it makes the dispatch time that much faster because we're directing them to where they need to go. We can make sure that we're getting the right trucks en route. So specifically fire, we have 6 stations getting ready to bring a 7th on board. So if we know within the city and our boundaries where they're going to need to go and who's going to need to go, it gets that truck going that much quicker. And they're already rolling to the scene. They know where they're going, what's going on, because we've gotten that location quickly. Helps us with our officers, our ambulances, any responder that we have out there. It also gives us the opportunity to provide additional data, medical data, security data, all the things that we get through the Rapid SOS platform. That helps us too, so we can tell the EMS, they've got an allergy or they've got a history with chest pains, whatever the callers put into their phone. If we can't talk, especially if we can't talk to somebody, if we can share that information without having talked to a person and still let them know what they're coming to, it's a game changer for responders. Again, there's just so much information in there, and being able to get that, it helps us guide the caller and guide us and make sure that we're on the same page together. It's been an absolute game changer, like I said, on so many calls here in Joplin, and I'll be happy to share some of those later on in the discussion.
Wonderful, thank you. And to Chief Black, to piggyback off of what Cheryl had mentioned, how does the availability of more data help you in the fire, the field side, respond more effectively to emergencies?
Sure. I was in the last session, and I have to thank dispatchers for the work they do. And again, I think this platform too changes some of the work they have to do, because you're only as good as the information you get to then push out. And we know it's someone's worst day. So when you look at that piece, someone's calling 911 because they're having an emergency. Every step that we can take to decrease the time to go mitigate it is helpful, whether it's what happens at dispatch, because they have all this preloaded information that will be helpful. we're not having, especially look at medical, if it's already loaded that someone has a heart condition or they're not ambulatory, whatever the case may be, that's already in there. That changes. We know what we're going to do. When you look at fire, to be able to know location, right? We're going to make our decisions on the data quicker. We're going to hone in and prioritize what is our strategic decision making the more data we have. And that's a game changer for life safety, citizen safety, and firefighter safety as well. The more data, the better. How we utilize it, I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute from the first responder end, is helpful, but it changes that 911 call to solving whatever's going on.
And that
I'm
leads,
not the tech person, so
yeah.
I
Well,
just want
Dan's
the
gonna
data.
make that. Dan will make that part easy for us. So we're gonna serve it up. So Donna had mentioned location. So Dan, can you provide some insights into some of the specific advantages, as far as the Rapid SOS partnership brings your organization? Can it help with customer retention, attract, what do we do, to really help, with public safety? I think that's kind of the focus of this question. I guess I'll hand that off to you.
Yeah, it's a good question, and thinking of the comments that Cheryl and Chief Black made about all these screens and all this data. When we walk into an opportunity, whether it's, and I've been talking to a lot of statewide public safety leaders, and they ask how, public safety, a lot of times 911, how they're going to get this data. We literally just have an answer ready. The ubiquitous nature of Rapid SOS within 911 specifically is just a game changer for us. We don't have to develop an application. So there's some cost savings there because we're not just like building this front end application. Rapid SOS is there. Public safety is using it. We're a partner of Rapid SOS. So there it is. And I'll even mention, Mike, between our two companies, between IamResponding and GeoComm, so our newest and most exciting addition, at least in my mind, is building out indoor maps for buildings and really focusing on schools. But I don't know if we would have worked together to make that data available then to fire responders within your application, which those conversations and that technical work is now beginning between GeoComm and IamResponding. The Rapid SOS is really who made that happen. I don't think it would have happened otherwise. So it's not just the customers getting the benefit and then getting that data, and again, that single pane of glass. I think it's companies themselves being introduced and finding value, and then working together. I think there's some value there as well.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I think that's kind of that hub where it starts for us. Speaking for my team and the IamResponding side, and so I know as far as the solution, I'd like to hear a little bit about the service that we were talking about with the work you guys are doing at GeoComm. Have you had some feedback as far as like how that has benefited public safety with what you're working on right now? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of exciting things. One of them being vertical location services. So the vertical metric that's being delivered during 911 calls, in many ways, it's helpful. It's a great start for public safety from a vertical standpoint, but it's not usable data. Where I think a lot of first responders and public safety practitioners, they want as accurate information as possible. So we stood up vertical location services where we'll take that vertical metric, which is typically a height above ellipsoid, which is like a mathematical calculation of someone's vertical position in space, and then we'll convert that into an estimated floor level. So again, GeoComm, we developed that. We have some patents around it. We're really, really excited about it. But we would have to take that to, several thousand, tens of thousands of public safety agencies to provide actual value. So there's over 6,000 911 centers, 20 or more thousand fire agencies, volunteer paid in the United States, I think more than that. That's a lot of customers to have to engage. However, we have now made this a part of the Rapid SOS offering. So an admin at your agency just has to go turn it on. It only works with Google phones at this time within Rapid SOS, but you will then get this vertical location service developed by GeoComm via Rapid SOS, right? We don't have to go sell it to you. We don't have to hit those tens of thousands of agencies. So what the feedback we're getting is really just thank you. Like, thanks for not having to go piecemeal by this and provide this value information. The fact that it's just being made available and the value is already embedded in Rapid SOS, that's what we're hearing, and we are excited to work together on that.
Thank you, Dan. And I based on kind of chatting so far with Cheryl and Donna, I have to imagine the location comes up quite a bit. So this goes to Cheryl, but can you describe how your agency leverages Rapid SOS and the impact it has on your community?
Absolutely. So we use it for all kinds of calls that we get. We dispatch law and fire, and we do EMS calls. We have another agency that actually dispatches, but it's really helpful because, again, the location of where the caller is at. When we take medical calls, we share them with our county. We're a city agency, so we are within Jasper County. So if we take a medical call and it falls into Jasper County, we can still take that 911 call. We can still process it. We can still EMD it, and we can still get it out to them because we can still see that location data on the computer. So that's a tremendous help. It also helps if we've got a rolling domestic or something that's coming towards us or leaving our jurisdiction. We can share real-time data with whoever we're either getting the call from or sending the call to. So they too can see them. All of our agencies around us have Rapid SOS. So we're seeing exactly the same information until it leaves our geofence. So we have that location, that information, and it's a tremendous value. We actually used it in a really good situation a few months ago. We have several major highways that run through Joplin. We're in the southwest corner of Missouri. So we've got Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all on our borders. So we had a woman that was coming through on I-44, and she had gone off the highway. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but she rolled down an embankment into a tree line, and no indications on the side of the road where a car had gone off at the side of the road. But she called, didn't want to leave her vehicle to flag anybody down because her baby was inside in the back seat, still strapped into the car seat. Baby screaming, she's terrified, doesn't know what's going on. She calls 911, and we've got responders going out there, and no one can see her from the road. So we're guiding them from the Rapid SOS location and using the what 3 words and prepared and all the other things that we're using in there. And we literally walked them right to where she was. If we had not had Rapid SOS, they'd have gone up and down those miles of highway trying to find where she was, because it was never going to be visible from the road. So we potentially saved minutes to maybe an hour or more of trying to find her by having that location and getting them step by step, watching their car versus where Rapid SOS is showing them to get them to that location. So without that, again, it would have been a much different outcome for that family. We also use it. We actually use it for our canines. When our canines are out on a track, we'll have the handler, we'll dial 911, put the phone in his pocket, and we track the handler when they're going into a wooded area. So we can direct the additional officers that are going out there. Maybe they find the suspect and they've got to arrest them. If we need additional officers that are not right there with our handler and our canine, we can direct them step by step, or they can turn Rapid SOS on their phone because they all have access to it, and they can walk themselves down to that location. So we've found some really great innovative ways for what we do in our center to get the callers and the responders to those locations. So I can't say anything bad about Rapid SOS and how we use it. In fact, when Chief Black was saying, what Dan was saying, we've had some really great conversations with our agencies we dispatch for, and things that we can do, like, oh wow, you can do that, and like, that is so cool. And how can we use it this way? Like, absolutely, we are open to whatever you guys want to try. We're an open book of whatever we can do to make their jobs easier. So it's a great tool.
I appreciate it. That's really cool. Kind of out of the box, outside the box use case too that you mentioned for canine, and plug for IamResponding. We could probably help out with that too for
yes.
location tracking.
I was just thinking that.
I'll pass this next one to Chief Black. What kinds of tools or technology are instrumental in your efforts to support your community?
Sure. The more information, the better, right? So I think there's twofold. is also the information from the community side, from the citizen side. This has got to be a whole community approach, because we really need the buy-in from the citizen to give us the information. We talked about this in the last session. They have to trust us to give extra information so that we have it as well, right? And because that's a game changer. Location, location, location. I know it's cold over most of the United States today, so close your eyes and imagine being in a beach community in a 3 or 4 story house that has 20 to 25 people in it, and the house is called the Lucky Duck. So they call 911 and they're like, well, we're at the Lucky Duck. Well, there's probably 2,700 houses that have duck in their name, and location, location, location. You say my house is on fire, or there's a heart attack on the 2nd floor. The more data we have to get to that location, not just through the caller, right? Just through the caller's words, is going to make or break our area. Staffing and response time, right? That's what challenges all of us, especially on the Outer Banks here. So if we know what our minimum staffing has to do quickly, and we can get to the location, not only the physical location of the emergency, but within the structure, the building, the field, the ocean, that's going to make a difference in outcomes.
And I don't think location can be overstated. So that's so important in the work that we're doing. And looking forward a little bit, and this is the Dan. How can other organizations draw inspiration from our partnership as far as with our Rapid SOS and GeoComm, and what advice or insights would you offer to companies aiming to establish similar collaborations in terms of customer safety, well-being? Some thoughts on that?
Sure. I think of a recent win that we had, and it's a project that's currently ongoing in the state of Iowa, where GeoComm was selected as the statewide vendor to build indoor GIS-based maps of all 1,500 of their public schools. So this was a multi-million-dollar project, and really one of the key differentiators, and I referenced this earlier, was our partnership with Rapid SOS. When they asked us how would this data be delivered to first responders, and 911, we said, listen, X amount of agencies are using, which I think literally every single 911 agency, maybe except one in Iowa, and we'll figure that one out, was using Rapid SOS actively. So it was just, it was there, and we could do that. And again, it didn't require this heavy lift for us to create new partnerships or build an application, and we are doing a mobile application, but it was just a very easy way to alleviate their concerns and really check the box for them. Again, that wouldn't happen without the partnership. And so really my advice for both public safety leaders of jurisdictions, but also then companies providing public safety applications and services, is ask your customers or ask the users within your jurisdiction, how do they want to consume all of this location data? So I think, as we've heard today and in other sessions, it's not more screens, it's not more applications, it's not more contracts, right? That's not what people are asking for. They want a more efficient and effective way to consume this data, because it is so valuable. As the chief said, all the location information they can get, but there has to be an intelligent way to display and interact with that. And so for us, just have those conversations and ask people. I think we're very careful when we're building new services and applications to talk to our user base and ask them what they would want. And that's where vertical location services came up with. So really, that's my advice, is have that conversation, better understand the needs, because I think that's going to just provide benefits for everyone.
Thank you. And that, in the last, we got about 5 minutes left or so. And that kind of leads to, the future. So, this is kind of to everyone. As far as, what do you see, what do you envision as the evolution of emergency response tech, over the next decade, and what opportunities and challenges do you foresee? So I'll pass it to Dan, Cheryl, and then off to Chief Black from there.
Interoperable data and communications. That's what needs to happen. It's not what I want. It's not what should. It has to happen. We can no longer have silos either between applications or platforms or agencies. This location data has to be made available to everyone and anyone that needs access to it when needed. Case in point, our indoor maps, we build them once with the customer, and then we make those available to anyone that needs them with the approval of the building owner. We don't want you to have to use a specific application. Here's the data, consume it, use it, no questions asked. And to me, that has to be the future of public safety communications.
Yeah, absolutely. And I echo Dan's comments. Being able to share that data between agencies, regions, across state borders, that's where we are now. And that's what our citizens expect. You know, it goes back to the old adage of, you know, dominoes can find me, but why can't 911? We are way past that now. We know that that technology is there, and we should not have to go out and seek it. It should be there ready for us to take it. I will absolutely, as a manager, partner with an agency if they're partnering with Rapid SOS, because Rapid SOS has become that known factor and that one that I trust with the data. And if an agency is partnering with them, I can trust that that agency wants what's best for 911. So when we're talking about the interoperability, and like I said, we're down in the southwest corner of Missouri, so we work with other states on a regular basis. We're constantly swapping 911 calls and data and location and all that. So having a place that we can do that in one spot and we can share actionable, real intelligence that we know has been vetted and verified is going to make those in progress calls that much easier to process and respond to and work. So we don't have issues where we find out someone else was doing something with it, but we didn't know it because we're all silos. We can't be silos anymore. We have to be.
That's
Each
the
team.
theme.
Yeah.
Breaking it down. So
Yes.
we got just a couple of minutes. Chief Black, I'll pass that. Your thoughts.
Thanks. I mean, I echo what both Cheryl and Dan said. And I think the other piece is, you know, there's a fear of data too in technology, right? Like you know, when you talk, all this great technology and I'll single me out, right? I'm not the tech person. I want to go put water on the fire and, you know, give aid where needed. So whatever you magical people with the big brains can do to simplify that process to give us the key information we need, big thumbs up there. So I think the challenge is to make sure the fire service is buying in that this data is going to help and it's not scary technology, right? Because I think there's that block a bit, and then that citizen piece. And I think that's making sure the citizens are engaged in understanding. I think that's the work of all emergency response organizations, including dispatch, to make sure that our communities, our councils, our boards understand the work we're doing and why this technology is important. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we need them to buy in to literally buy in. So I think it's a group effort, great opportunity, and continually educating to see all the benefits, because it is going to change that call of 911 to mitigating the incident. If we can get all the pieces in the right place. So it's very exciting.
And
Thank
just,
you. Oh yeah.
sorry, piggybacking really quick off of that. So, and I kudos to Rapid SOS and all of the partners companies that listen to us. When we say we need this, they're like, okay, we're on it. And they seek out regularly to know what can we do to make your jobs easier. And I cannot tell you how important that is to us. So thank you very much to all of you that made that happen.
Excellent. And you know, Dan, Cheryl, Chief Black, you know, thank you for your time, you know, sharing your insights with us. And if you have any questions from everyone on the meet, you know, or wish to connect, you can reach out to me by email, mheneka@RapidSOS, and also there's a link in the chat where you can complete a survey. So we'll have some more engaging sessions lined up. So be sure to explore them and more on the WOVA platform. And thank you all for being part of today's event.
Thanks for asking us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, that was cool. Thank you guys. That was